AMD has now officially said that machine learning-based FSR, which we would expect to be called FSR4, AI-based version of it coming to Call of Duty Black Ops 6, or at least officially it said they are hard at work at implementing it for Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and to be clear, it's not out yet. But this is the first officially confirmed, like, AMD is working on AI-based upscaling, not only just in general, but Call of Duty Black Ops 6. This goes along with Jack Quinn, who I reported a while ago from AMD, saying that they've been working on AI-based version of FSR for 9 to 12 months, which they said as of a couple of months ago. So in other words, probably around early 2024, and that would mean that we would hopefully expect this to be maturing and ready to come out soon. Now, when would I expect it to come out? Probably when they launch RDNA 4, which we now have more information about that as well, with Lisa Su actually, so the CEO of AMD, if you're unaware, Lisa Su specifically saying in an earnings call to investors, where they're kind of legally obligated to try to be honest, specifically saying in gaming graphics, revenue declined year over year as we prepare for a transition to our next-gen Radeon GPUs based on our RDNA 4 architecture. In addition to a strong increase in gaming performance, RDNA 4 delivers significantly higher ray tracing performance and adds new AI capabilities. We're on track to launch the first RDNA 4 GPUs in early 2025. Now, I want us to think about that adds new AI capabilities and this claim about the machine learning AI-based FSR4, because I do have some potential concerns about that. But you guys might also be confused, why am I wearing a Santa Claus outfit? Also, considering if you're watching this video on the day it's being filmed, this is Halloween. I wear this to annoy my students at school, and I ran home on my lunch break, which is right now as I'm filming this, to let you guys know about FSR4 coming out, because that's super exciting, but also the fact that you should take advantage of Jawa.gg to get the best price to performance builds on the internet. And I can save you $10 off your first purchase using code OWEN10. And why would you want to do that? Well, maybe you don't want to wait until 2025 to get your next GPU. Maybe you want to get something off of Jawa, like you could get a 3080 Founders Edition for a little over $400. And if you're on the new market right now trying to buy a $400 NVIDIA GPU, you're buying like a 4060 Ti, and a 4060 Ti is like incredibly slow compared to a 3080. The Tech PowerUp has them as 37% faster. So using the used market can help you get vastly more performance for the same price, and following that link in the video description will take you to Jawa to get you some awesome prices, not just on those individual components like I pointed out, but they also have fully completed builds if you don't want to deal with trying to figure all of that out. But also, if you're planning on selling your hardware to fund your upgrade, you can click the Get an Instant Offer button for your CPU or GPU as well. Or you can make your own listings, becoming a verified seller on Jawa, and also keep your eye out on November 6th through the end of the year for great deals on Jawa. Be sure to create an account and subscribe so you can see flash sales, giveaways, and deals for the holiday season. And as it gets closer to like the November 22nd through 29th, you'll start getting deals of the day around that kind of Black Friday season. So there should be incredible deals on like PC custom builds, components, peripherals, more. Anyway, it should be really awesome. Again, click that link in the video description and or pinned comment. So back to my thoughts a little bit on this. So, okay. Also, I should mention, we also have official performance graphs from AMD for the 7800X 3D CPU. We'll also be able to mention that quickly in the video since that news kind of hit at the same time. But I want to follow up a little bit more on this GPU stuff before we switch gears on that with the FSR. So I'm seeing some places reporting that we're seeing screenshots of that machine learning-based upscaling here. And I would say that there's no indication in this actual video that is indeed the case. They mention FSR4 when showing some gameplay there, but they don't, they're in no means specifically claiming that footage was using this machine learning-based upscaling, as far as I can tell. So I wouldn't read that far into it like I'm seeing, I think, some places doing. The other thing I wanted to mention regarding the AI support is one potential concern you might have if you are an existing AMD user is in the past AMD has been really good about allowing, you know, older cards to run with their newer features, whereas NVIDIA is more of that you better buy the latest hardware to support the latest features kind of situation, locking you know, DLSS only onto RTX 20 series and up, and then DLSS frame generation for only 40 series and up, whereas AMD has implemented solutions that might run better on newer hardware, but doesn't ban older hardware from running it, if that makes sense. Now, AMD is specifically, when talking about RDNA 4 here, mentioning not only significantly higher ray tracing performance, but also specifically mentioning new AI capabilities. Now, it's possible that that's just a buzzword to please investors during an earnings call, but it's also possible that a new AI capability might be having you know, enough machine learning horsepower to run a more advanced version of FSR, you know, in Call of Duty Black Ops 6, for example, that machine learning based FSR. In other words, we don't know for sure yet if the new machine learning based FSR might be exclusive to RDNA 4 and up, if they have increased AI capabilities, and that'll be something we'll want to watch out for. I wouldn't blame AMD if that's the route they had to go to get a upscaling technique that is actually competitive with DLSS in you know, just head-to-head quality and performance, because right now they can kind of match the performance of DLSS with worse image quality. So it wouldn't surprise me if FSR became more tier-based, kind of what Intel does, for example, although a little bit different. In other words, that Intel's XeSS upscaling on Intel compatible Intel GPUs will run a better quality version using you know, faster, you know, machine learning acceleration that's built into those GPUs, but it has a fallback to run on hardware that doesn't have those exclusive AI accelerators. I'm wondering if AMD will do the same thing, where the older versions of FSR are just kind of a fallback that get used for GPUs that don't have the increased machine learning capabilities from RDNA 4. And it's possible that that's the case, but to be clear, I am just speculating on that right now. I'm just saying that's something to watch out for. Anyway, overall, kind of last thoughts on this, the machine learning based upscaling is, in my opinion, the most critical thing that AMD absolutely has to be doing to become you know, more directly competitive with NVIDIA. Because for a lot of gamers, that, you know, increased ray tracing performance isn't something they're that you know, excited about, because it's like, well, I'd turn off ray tracing anyway, because for optimized settings to get the highest frame rate in trade-off for image quality, it's like, sure, RT can look better, but there's a heavy performance cost. So a lot of people would turn off ray tracing anyway, even on NVIDIA hardware. But a lot more people, for the exact same reasons, you're willing to take a small decrease to visuals in order to get a noticeable increase in performance. For that reason, a lot of people are willing to use DLSS. You take a little bit of a hit to the visuals for a lot more performance, but with the current versions of FSR, you're taking a much more noticeable hit to image quality when you enable it compared to the people who are enabling DLSS. And that, therefore, is, I think, a more critical feature for a lot of gamers, is getting a upscaling technique that is directly competitive with DLSS. The fact that they're also chasing the better ray tracing performance will help them be even more feature complete for direct competition with NVIDIA. What we hope for now is that this actually all pans out and works out. There's also been some hints pointing at potentially a maybe ray reconstruction style AI machine learning based denoiser that's also being hinted at here. So in other words, it really looks like AMD is kind of acknowledging that NVIDIA has a feature set advantage right now, and they're looking at directly countering that. How successful they are, I hope they're 100% successful or even better, and they'd come out ahead, but we'll have to see. So, in other words, I'm excited to see what's coming from that. The other thing that came out of this video is AMD's official performance claims for the 9800X3D versus the 7800X3D. They are showing a variety of games here, and if you just look at the graphs, it might make you feel like the performance jump is larger than what they're actually claiming, because what they're actually claiming is 8% better than the 7800X3D on average based on a 40-game test sample. Notice that this graph does not include all 40 games. So in a first-party marketing slide, you know, it's going to look better if you take some, you know, take the highest performers and fill the charts with a lot of those, and leave off some of the lower performers. Well, to their credit, they did still show some of the lower performers in order to not be as misleading as they could have been. I like that they did actually include the 8% average right here. Now, again, this is AMD's first-party testing, though, and especially in their CPU results recently, they have been incredibly questionable. Hopefully there's been enough pushback on that these are going to end up actually being accurate. We'll have to find out when these actually ship. We also have AMD's claims now that the 285K is out from Intel. AMD can now benchmark their 9800X3D up against it, and they're claiming a 20% lead over the 285K on a 40-game average. Again, this is not showing 40 games, and so of course they're taking the highest performers, like they're claiming 59% better in Cyberpunk, for example, and I will say that in the 285K reviews, a lot of people did find Cyberpunk was a massive underperformer for the 285K, which would explain this as actually potentially being a reasonable result for Cyberpunk. But the point is, again, when you're looking at first-party benchmarks, do keep in mind the cherry picking on which bar charts they show. But the average here, like I said, hopefully AMD's got enough pushback to that where that's at least a somewhat reasonable claim. But again, we are expecting full reviews on November 7th. We also do have the full specs and everything up available for the 9800X3D. I don't think there's anything too mind-blowing here, especially if you've been following the leaks. 8-core, 16-thread, 3D V-cache. But one of the other exciting things here is that they're saying that it does support overclocking support more so than the 7800X3D did. That could potentially be to the due to the V-cache being located underneath rather than above, maybe perhaps being more thermally, better thermally than what they were doing previously to allow for more additional clocks. But anyway, that's what I've got for you guys today. I think this is extremely exciting. And once again, do not forget to check out Jawa.gg for some of the best price to performance builds on the internet and finding individual parts and builds and all of that. And don't forget, I can save you $10 off your first purchase using code Owen10 if you follow the link in the video description and or pinned comment. And I was about to say Merry Christmas, but Happy Halloween, everybody. Have an excellent day.